One of my students asked me for some help with some questions on the Unit 3 assessment, the quadratic functions. They asked me about some domain and range. So I'm going to focus on that in this video. So we're going to go to this graph. So let's see. So it's the same graph twice. One, we're going to focus on domain, and then over here, we're going to focus on range. So domain is the x's. So first thing is, when I have these, I clip these from Desmos, and we need arrows on the end of these. And over here, we need arrows on the end of those. All right, so domain, that is your x's, remember. So how far left to right? So make a mark here. That's the furthest leftmost point. And it keeps going to the right forever, so I can't make a mark there. So I gotta now count, say -5, -6, -8. It looks like the furthest left it goes is -8, and then it keeps going to the right without end. So x is going to be -8 or larger. So x is greater than or equal to -8. Range, that's the up and down. All right, so up and down. So follow this arrow. It's going right, but it's also gradually, as you guys can see right here, it goes up, up, up. So it is also going up. We come down here, it is going to the right as well. But again, if you follow the curve, it also is going down. It's not going down very quickly, but it is going down. So there's no end to it going up or down. So the range is going to be all real numbers. So we're going to put this funny looking R to represent all real numbers. We've seen that before. All right. Next one, got a circle. And again, on one of these, we're going to focus on domain. And then another one, we're going to focus on range. So domain is left to right. So I'm looking at my circle. And the furthest left it goes is here. Remember, domain, that's the left to right. That's the x-axis. So domain, I make a mark here. That's the leftmost point. And I go to the furthest right, and it seems to go right here. Well, domain is the x's. Well, this is at 0. And the furthest right goes is here, and that's at 6. So it looks like x has to be between 0 and 6. So x has to be greater than or equal to 0, less than or equal to 6. All right, so range, we more or less do the same thing, except now we have to think about top to bottom. So now I got to think about, okay, the highest this thing goes is right here. The lowest it goes is right here. All right, the low point, that one's easy to read. That one's at -5. This high point, that looks like it's at 1. So my range is going to go from -5 up to 1. So y, the range, that's y, has to be between -5 and 1. So y is greater than or equal to -5, less than or equal to 1. Okay. One more example. Okay, now we have traditional quadratic. And again, with Desmos, it doesn't provide arrows. So arrow here, arrow here, arrow, oops, and arrow here. So again, this one we're going to focus on domain. It's the same graph and range. So domain is the x's. So I'm looking at left to right. Now, while this is going up very steep, it is going up. If you follow along the curve, it is also going to the left. Not as fast as it's going up, but it's still moving to the left. Again, if you follow along this way, it's going up. There's an arrow there, so it's going up forever. But again, if you follow along as it's moving up, it's also moving to the right forever. There's no arrow, so that's going to be all real numbers. Okay, moving on to range. Range, that's up and down. So if I look at my bottom point here, that's as low as it gets. And again, like we said over here, this thing is going up forever on this side, and it's going up forever on this side. So it goes up forever, but it has a limit on the bottom. So I'm going to count that. That looks like that's going to be at, let's see, first of all, my scale, to get from 0 to 10, I can't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right? So I've got to pay attention to my scale here. So that's really 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Count by twos. So -2, -4, -6. So that point looks to be at about -6. This right here, low mark at -6. And it goes up forever. So y looks like it's going to be greater than or equal to -6.